Hello! Hello everybody. I guess you could say good and bad news. But the good news is that they finally found Cheryl Coker's body. I don't think anybody thought she was still alive walking around out there. The weird thing is I was looking up two cases today. Melissa Pesky, and then I was going to look up Cheryl Coker, and then I had to drive my wife to get the studded snow tires taken off the car. And then I didn't have time to get to Cheryl Coker yet, and then when I get back, my little Facebook buddies, I don't know what, Truth Sleuth, I guess you call her on here, she said, oh look, there's a press conference, and her body was found, so maybe we can try to figure something out of where her body was found by listening to this press conference here. They still haven't arrested Bill Coker, though, for some damn reason. Okay, so let's move over to the other screen here and play some of this press conference. Hold on. I know there's another. Yeah, remains found in Cedar Creek Township.
All right, the break.
So let's just, I'm going to fast forward it to get to the point where they're talking. All right, probably it.
Is everybody ready? My name is Gene Fisher, F-I-S-C-H-E-R. I'm the Sheriff of Greene with an E on the end county. And we're here to talk about Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, about 5:30.
Yeah, it's a mono track, so I think it's coming out of the right side. So don't go, I can't hear it, I can't hear it, I can't hear it. Yeah, it's a mono track, so figure out how to, work with that.
We received a phone call from a resident
Maybe the
on
left side.
Waynesville, Jamestown Road, who was out mushroom hunting and found what appeared to be bones.
Wow, another mushroom hunter.
The officers went down, detectives were called out. We recovered several bones and a skull that evening, and went back out to the scene today with BCI. The bones that were recovered were taken to Montgomery County Crime Lab, and those bones were identified this afternoon as that of Cheryl Coker, missing out of Riverside.
Wow.
With me is the Greene County Coroner, Kevin Sherritt, the police chief of Riverside,
Now let me
Frank Cologne,
rewind it again. Hold on a second.
FISCH.
I didn't have time to fix the audio for everybody. It just came out just now.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah, it's hunters, mushroom hunters,
My name is
specifically.
Gene Fisher, FISCHER.
Road work.
I'm the Sheriff of Greene with an E on the end county. And we're here to talk about Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, about 5:30. We received a phone call from a resident on Waynesville, Jamestown Road, who was out.
Waynesville, James, yeah, right there. That's way out here. Waynesville, Jamestown Road, and it's in Ohio. Now, hold on, let me get Coker. I just want to turn her data back on. Okay, there you go. So this is all the Coker information that I have amassed over the months we've been covering it. And if you look, that's her house right here. That's the little route that Bill Coker most likely took when he drove the car, dropped it off here at the shopping mall. Then you see him in all black walk around like this, come around, walk behind the near the school, and then probably leapt over the fence into the backyard right there. There are 3 surveillance cameras here that picked up him walking back to the house. Although you can't see it's specifically him, it's really pretty obvious. All right. So her body was just found right in this area. So let's see how big that road is. Does it continue on? Yeah, so it could be anywhere along this road. It's a pretty long road. It goes from right here, and then I think, does it continue on? Yeah, so it even continues. It's this whole stretch right here. So here, let me do something really quick here. Well, might not be extremely quick, but it'll be something. I'm going to put just draw on it, just so I have the full length of the road, just generally. Yeah, it looks like it continues. It looks like it goes all the way into the town there. Alright. And I'll make it a little thicker and red. And I'll change that to body found off of okay, and the distance as the crow flies to generally in that area is 15 to 20 miles, 25 miles probably. So it's not far at all. And totally makes sense, right? I wonder where. I mean, when you look at this road, there's a wooded area there, a wooded area right there, and then this whole stretch right there. A lot of this, you wouldn't do that, dump a body, but maybe right there. It could have been that he took a side road off of it, so they say, near there. Let's go back to the press conference.
Everybody ready? My name is Gene Fisher, Fischer. I'm the sheriff of Greene with an E on the end county, and we're here to talk about Saturday afternoon, about 5:30. We received a phone call from a resident on Waynesville Jamestown Road who was out mushroom hunting and found what appeared to be bones in the field. The officers went down, detectives were called out. We recovered several bones and a skull that evening, and went back out to the scene today with BCI. The bones that were recovered were taken to Montgomery County Crime Lab, and those bones were identified this afternoon as that of Cheryl Coker, missing out of Riverside. With me is the Greene County Coroner, Kevin Sherritt, the police chief of Riverside, Frank Colon, and Major Frank Robinson, and Major Adam Colon, the criminal investigation commander of Riverside Police Department. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Kevin Sherritt, the Greene County Coroner.
Thank you, Gene. As the sheriff spoke, Saturday evening there were bones found on adjacent to Waynesville Jamestown Road, Cedar Creek Township. Our office was notified at approximately 8 p.m. and responded to the scene. Those bones were retrieved and the scene was secured and investigated. Forensic autopsy was started on Sunday morning by Dr. Ken Harshbarger at the Montgomery County Coroner's Office. And based on evidence collected at the scene as well as the preliminary autopsy findings, we were able to conclusively make the identification of the deceased as being Cheryl Coker, birth date April 24, 1972. So the forensic autopsy is still ongoing, investigation is still ongoing, Family has been notified by the Riverside Police Department, and we are continuing to work this case at this time. So with that, I will turn the podium over to Chief Robinson of the Riverside Police Department.
Well, I prepared a little bit of a statement, but I think the sheriff and the coroner got a little bit of that. What I first want to say is my condolences to the family of Cheryl Coker, especially to her mother, Mary, to her two daughters, Marissa and Michaela. It's been a long time coming. They've been waiting, and it's been a very difficult time for them. Hopefully get some closure with this today. I just want to say that the family has been very cooperative with us throughout this whole investigation, very supportive of the Riverside PD, and we're very thankful for that. We've tried to support them as much as possible throughout this whole ordeal. Anytime they need anything, we're there to respond to that. We have a very good rapport with them, and we just want to thank them for that. Today really is just about giving time for them to grieve and to come to grips with their feelings for the second time. I mean, obviously, when this happened, obviously they had their feelings, and now it's come back out. So I know it's a really difficult day for them. However, I will say this: we have never given up on this case. We've never wavered from continuing to follow all of the evidence that we've collected and all the evidence anyone else has collected for us, which I want to say thank you to all the organizations, the ones who've went out and searched, and the other agencies that gone out and picked up evidence. And of course, we can't thank enough of Greene County for the efforts they've done this week and over the weekend. I just want to say a couple different things. That Cheryl went missing, if you remember, October the 2nd of 2018, and it's been a long process to get to go through this investigation for our folks and everyone else, and we're very glad that we've come to the day. You want to celebrate, but you really can't. It's a very somber moment today. One last thing I want to tell you is Cheryl's never been forgotten by the community. We've had a lot of candlelight vigils and things like that to keep her name out there. And just want to say that Cheryl's birthday was this past Friday. She would have been 48 years old. Thank you.
At this time, we'll take questions if anybody has any questions.
Chief, obviously, over the course of this investigation, William Cooper has been named a suspect in this investigation. Has anything with that changed at this point, and where does that portion of the investigation stand at this point?
Well, obviously, I'm not going to really get into any detail about the investigation at this point. Obviously, we've said what we've said in the past. Nothing's changed there. Someone asked me if you could really say that, and I say to them, I think anybody is a suspect in this thing. But William Coker, obviously, and her husband.
Is this an area that had been searched previously, to your knowledge?
That's my knowledge, no.
Can you describe or give us a brief description of the area that the body was found? How the trail, the roadway?
The area where the body was found is a wooded area, and those areas are quite popular for people looking for mushrooms this time of the year. And it's had to be somebody specifically looking for the mushrooms or something else and ran across these bones.
That it would be a common area for people to go hiking?
It is not. It's private property. It's just not a common area for somebody to go to.
Any words of thanks for the person that obviously found it and did the right thing by calling?
Somebody mentioned
Absolutely. We
1200
appreciate
as the
anytime
address,
citizens get
but
involved in
I don't know
helping
how
solve
where that's
crime.
showing up, where you're getting that
We
information.
applaud them all the time.
Can you give us again a brief description of the area?
Yeah, like I said before, you guys thought it was funny, but I actually think if they should have training for mushroom hunters. And because they seem to stumble upon so many bodies out there and bones because they're looking down. Hunters don't always look down, okay, but they do stumble upon bodies themselves. But mushroom hunters are particularly good at finding bodies because they're looking at the ground the whole time and finding disturbed, or so they should actually get them certified and some sort of a patch or some shit, just something, because my God, they come across bodies so often.
It's a farm area. If you get down in southern Ohio or southern Greene County, and it's predominantly farm area. Cedar Creek Township there's a lot of open fields, but this happened to be some woods and some overgrowth in the area.
Sure.
Yeah, it would be like a big mushroom patch, Who knows what it would be, but a big mushroom certified body, whatever it is. But when they find bodies, you got to teach them, okay, do not touch anything, put a flag down, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, I see the 1200 block of Waynesville, but where are you getting that 1200 from? Okay, I've seen it typed in. I just said that a minute ago, Jim. Yeah, okay. I've already said that I saw the 1200 block. I was asking where that came from. Okay. Okay, right there. And I've already put it in the map.
We did use
over
some clothing,
here. Right
and
there. Okay.
and it's been
That's
taken
the
as
1200
evidence.
block.
So that'll be all turned over to. It has been turned over to the crime lab. Doc, I don't know if you want to deal with how they identify.
Actually, no, it was right here.
Skeletal remains.
Well, when you have skeletal remains,
I
the
wonder
first
if it
thing you
was
do
in
is
there.
try to assess
Jeez.
the skeleton as to sex and race, even based on the skeletal attributes. So we were able to determine that this was a Caucasian female based on the skeletal remains. There was some evidence collected. The exact identification is being Cheryl.
I bet she was in that wooded area right there.
What I can say at this
Oh, maybe.
point, the
It could have been in the
investigation is
field, I guess.
ongoing, and to be able to give you an exact time right now, it's certainly premature. I can tell you that the remains were completely skeletonized, which would be consistent with the time. We're not far enough along yet to make any kind of comment, or at the autopsy and our
11,
investigation so
12,
far that the body was ever buried.
Wow, so she was just dumped.
Chief, I know you spoke to the family being notified. Is that something they've been waiting for about a year and a half now?
Certainly.
What was their general reaction?
I can't really say anything to that. I wasn't there when they were told, so I don't really sure.
What does this mean to your detectives? I mean, this has been, I know a lot of them have spent a lot of their time over the last year and a half.
I can tell you this: Detective Abney has worked this and lived it for a year and a half. So it takes its toll, and you can tell it. I can tell it's taking its toll on him. So.
Who handles the investigation going forward from here? Is this a Greene County investigation or is this a Riverside police investigation?
I think it's going to be kind of joint at this point.
Where does it go from here?
Obviously, just
She probably
just continue
dumped
the
her body
investigation, get all the
in like a
evidence that
cornfield or
possibly
something.
together, and
Yeah, I don't know. And then it,
That being said, in the event that, who knows, somebody may have seen something, may not have recalled it, but may recall it now that this has been found. Who should they contact if anyone knows anything else about this particular case?
I think you can contact either.
don't worry
department,
about
I
it,
believe,
William.
but,
It's
I would
not
say
related,
Riverside
okay?
PD
It's not
would be
related.
would be your first choice, I would think.
I don't know how people's minds work like that. It's like, it's just unbelievable.
Was the person who called in the 911 call the owner of the property? Was it somebody who was out there?
I'd have to double check that. I don't have the answer. I'm assuming it's a neighbor. I know the guy lived close by. I don't know if that was his property. I really don't think it
Come
was
on,
his
William.
property.
Jeez.
So. But lots of times people will park along the road and get off and go in and look for mushrooms. So. Thanks, Scott.
Sheriff or Chief, either one, is there any reason for Cheryl to be out there that you guys know of?
Come on. Jeez.
Without crime?
What a stupid
I have not
comment.
checked her history. Usually that
Oh,
that
yeah.
area
She was
where
out there getting ready for
found,
trick-or-treating. And,
it's not an area a whole lot of people go to. So it's it's about a
It's
mile
just
off
such a
of
dumb
68
question,
south of Xenia. It is
so it's right in this area.
once
somewhere.
again predominantly farmland down through there and a few areas of woods and overgrowth.
2009 is when this is. Did Cheryl have a reason to be out there? Like, was she... What kind of a It's like you don't even know the
skeletal
case.
Remains.
You know,
It's
just...
difficult to say at this point. We are certainly very early. There's going to be a lot more play into our
Hey, listen,
investigation
if you can't hear, it just means you have a
toxicology and
shitty
other,
system at your
forensic,
house. Okay? It's
avenues
mono,
to
coming out of the
follow.
left side.
Oftentimes,
Figure it out.
we are able
Okay?
to
Quit
come to some
complaining like
conclusive
babies.
diagnosis
It's
and
really
some conclusions
disheartening.
based on skeletal
Okay?
remains, but there's still a lot of information yet to be retrieved.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you the link so you can get the hell out of here and go complain somewhere else. Hold on a second. Let me get it for you.
We do have BCIs part of this investigation.
Here's the link
also.
for all the babies. Go watch it. Go have a good time.
Earlier in
I
the
don't
process.
care. All right?
BCI been involved?
I can hear it perfectly, and it's going out to the stream. I can see it.
Okay. So, they were at the scene today helping do the recovery. We had a couple cadaver dogs out today, and then Riverside had detectives out with metal detectors. So it's, there's a lot of work still to be done, and we will cooperate with Riverside to whatever extent needs to happen.
Timeline, distance traveled from the location of where Cheryl's home is.
About 20 miles.
Approximately.
They're asking how far away.
It's about a 15-minute drive.
All right, the breaking news you just saw here live, the Greene County Sheriff confirming. The skeletal remains discovered over the weekend are in fact.
Can you hear that one,
of a
crybabies?
long missing Riverside woman.
Jesus.
Welcome into 5 on 2. Cheryl Coker has been missing since October of 2018. Today, authorities confirmed that someone found her skeletal remains in a wooded area of Cedar Creek Township.
2 News reporter Kristen Eskow is live in Greene County with more information on the breaking news.
Hey, Brooke and Mark, that press conference just wrapped up about 15 minutes ago. Authorities telling us those remains were found about a 15-minute drive.
I just say it like
from
it
where
is.
Cheryl Coker had lived in Riverside, and this is an 18-month end to a search that had been going on since October 2018. The closure coming for her family just days after what would have been Cheryl Coker's 48th birthday. Now, Coker had been missing since October 2018. Was last seen dropping her daughter
I know,
off at school.
Debbie.
Many
My
community
God, are you
members
kidding
began an
me?
aggressive search effort. Her car was found about a mile from her home just days later. Now, a mushroom hunter found the skeletal remains, police said.
Wait, hold on. Look at that. Debbie types in, the sound coming only from left side of the original broadcast gray, which I've said 4 times on the show, okay?
Saturday night around 8. Now, they were sent to the coroner's office and have been missing since October 2018. Was last seen dropping her daughter off at school. Many community members began an aggressive search effort. Her car was found about a mile from her home just days later. Now, a mushroom hunter found the skeletal remains, police say, Saturday night around 8. Now, they were sent to the coroner's office and an autopsy began Sunday morning, and those remains were identified as that of Cheryl Coker. Now, Coker's husband, Bill, was named the only suspect last year in the case by Riverside police. Police saying today that has not changed. They say, though, he is not in custody at this time.
It's been a long process to get, to go through this investigation for our folks and everyone else, and we're very glad that we've come to the day. You want to celebrate, but you really.
Wait, hold on. Let's see if this is a better recording.
Fisher, Fischer.
Up, still coming out the left side. Oh, boy.
Hopefully get some closure.
Oh, boy, everybody. It's still left side.
Mushroom hunting.
Not sure I'm going to help you
found
out.
what appeared to be bones in the field. The officers went down. Detectives were called out. We recovered several bones and a skull that evening, and went back out to the scene today with BCI. The bones that were recovered were taken to the Greene County or the Montgomery County Crime Lab, and those bones were identified this afternoon as that of Cheryl Coker, this thing out of Riverside. With me is the Greene County Coroner, Kevin Sherritt, the Police Chief of Riverside, Frank Colon, and Major Sherritt, the Greene County Coroner.
Thank you, Gene. Approximately 8 p.m. and responded to the scene. Those bones were retrieved and the scene was secured and investigated. forensic autopsy was started on Sunday morning by Dr. Ken Harshbarger at the Montgomery County Coroner's Office, and based on evidence collected at the scene as well as the preliminary autopsy findings, we were able to conclusively make the identification of the deceased as being Cheryl Coker, birth date April 24, 1972. So the forensic autopsy is still ongoing, investigation is still ongoing. Family has been notified by the Riverside Police Department, and we are continuing to work this case at this time. So with that, I will turn the podium over to Chief Robinson of the Riverside Police Department.
Well, I prepared a little bit of a statement, but I think the sheriff and the coroner got a little bit of that. What I first want to say is my condolences to the family of Cheryl Coker, especially to her mother, Mary, to her two daughters, Marissa and Michaela. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting, and it's been a very difficult time for them. Hopefully get some closure with this today. I just want to say that the family has been very cooperative with us throughout this whole investigation, very supportive of the Riverside PD, and we're very thankful for that. We've tried to support them as much as possible throughout this whole ordeal. Anytime they need anything, we're there to respond to that. We have a very good rapport with them, and we just want to thank them for that.
That's not really that close.
It's just about giving time for them to grieve and to come to grips.
I like how everybody always tries to, like, wow, I'm right there at the crime scene. I'm related to the case somehow.
Their feelings, and now it's
come
back out. So I know it's a really difficult day for them. However, I will say this:
she's been missing for a year and a half.
We've never given up on this case.
Since October 2018, and we've covered it since the beginning.
And all the evidence anyone else has collected for us, which I want to say thank you to all the organizations, the ones who've went out and searched.
I've had family members
and
on,
other agencies that gone out and picked up evidence.
You can go back and listen to them if you'd like.
We can't thank enough of Greene County for the efforts they've done this week and over the weekend. I just want to say a couple different things. That Cheryl went missing, if you remember, October the 2nd of 2018.
Oh, that's weird. October 2nd again.
It's been a long process to get, to go through
October
this
2nd, 2019
for folks and everyone else, and
is
we're
the day
glad
bell.
That we've come to the day. You want to celebrate, but you really can't. It's a very somber moment today. One last thing I want to tell you is Cheryl's never been forgotten by the community. We've had a lot of candlelight vigils and things like that to keep her name out there. And I just want to say that Cheryl's birthday was this past Friday. She would have been 48 years old. Thank you.
Yeah, we've already been here, but it looks like we're...
At this time, we'll take questions if anybody has any questions.
In this area right there.
Chief, obviously, over the course of this investigation...
So he probably just got on the freeway and drove her like this. Came down, went off that spoke wheel, boom, right there. And then just dumped her body.
Obviously, I'm not going to really get into any detail about the investigation at this point. Obviously, we've said what we've said in the past. Nothing's changed there. Someone asked me if you could really say that, and I say to them,
I wonder how he picked the spot.
Anybody is a suspect in this thing.
Because it did take a year and a half to find, and it was just a miracle.
William Coker, obviously, her husband.
Is this an area that had been searched previously, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Yeah, I had 3 family members and friends on a few months back.
Sir, can you describe or give us a brief description of the area that the body was found? Out of the trail, roadway, or...
It's the area where the body was found is a wooded area, and it's those areas are quite popular for people looking for mushrooms this time of the year, and it's had to be somebody specifically looking for the mushrooms or something else and ran across these bones.
It would be a common area when people go hiking.
It is not. It's private property. It's
probably right in here.
It's just not a common area for somebody to go to.
And it's either there or here. But this would be easier for them.
Absolutely, we appreciate the anytime citizens get involved in helping solve a crime. We applaud them all the time.
I bet she was found
Give us
right in
again
there.
a brief description of the area. You said
It's farm. It's a farm area. You get down in southern Ohio or southern Greene County, and it's predominantly farm area. Caesar Creek Township there's a lot of open fields, but this happened to be some woods and some overgrowth in the area.
Sheriff spoke to us a little bit, and we may be wading into some area that you can't discuss here, but how she was identified? I know she had some, according to the 911 caller, had some clothing, maybe some belongings. Was that a big part of
But we
identifying?
did use some clothing, and and it's been taken as evidence, so that'll be all turned over to it has been turned over to the crime lab. Doc, I don't know if you want to deal with how they identify a skeletal remains.
Well, when you have skeletal remains, the first thing you do is try to assess the skeleton as to sex and race, even based on the skeletal attributes. So we were able to determine that this was a Caucasian female based on the skeletal remains. There was some evidence collected at the scene that gave us a presumptive identification. That put us on the path of doing further investigation, and using dental records and surgical records, we were able to confirm the exact identification as being Cheryl Coker.
Were you able to determine at this point, like how long she had been missing?
Thanks, Elodie.
What I
Yep,
can say
we're
at this
raising
point,
money
the
to,
investigation is
we're still
ongoing, and to be able to give
trying
you
to do the
exact
super
time right
chats
now,
for
it's
the
certainly
donation we're
premature.
making
I
in
can tell
2
you
days.
that the remains were
Maybe,
completely
2 days
skeletonized,
from
which
now.
would be consistent with the time that she was reported
I mean,
to be
a portion
missing.
of my super chats goes to that.
I mean,
Hey, thanks, Jennifer Cochran Fent. Last month we donated
We're not far
1,000.
enough
I'm
along
hoping
yet
to do
make
the
any
same
kind of
thing during
comments along those lines.
these crappy times, but we can do it.
Could it appear that the body was possibly buried at some point in time and became unburied, or
There was no evidence at the scene or at the autopsy in our investigation so far that the body was ever buried.
So the body was never buried. I bet you what he did was he pulled up and drug her body into the woods back there. I don't think he would have drug her through and put her in here. He did say she was found in a wooded area, right?
I can't really say anything to that.
And this is the only wooded
I wasn't
area
there when they were
right off of
told, so I'm not
1200.
really sure.
What's this mean to your detectives? I mean, this has been, I know a lot of
Hey,
people
thanks.
tell me
Maley, is it Maley or Male?
I
Maley
can tell you this,
Harmon.
that Abney has worked this and lived it for
Yeah.
a year and a half. So it takes its toll, and you can tell I can tell it's taking its toll on him. So
who handles the investigation going forward from here? Is this a Greene County
He
investigation?
pulls over and he just drags her body into
think
here
it's gonna be
somewhere,
kind of,
and he's also
joint at
feels
this
like
point.
he's protected. He can't be seen by any cars
obviously
coming
just,
this way.
Just continue the investigation
And
to get all
then-
the evidence
what
that
time
we
of year
possibly
is
can
this?
gather, and then
Oh, well,
go from there.
We're sort of fortunate
With that being said,
here because this
in the
is
event that, who knows, somebody may have seen something, may not have recalled it, but may recall it now.
we're sort of fortunate because the street view that we're looking at, while being in 2009, happens to be in October. So we just happen to have what it would look like. See how there's cornfields there? You know, I don't know if, I mean, that was 11 or actually 9 years prior to when she was put there, but I kind of picture him he would have been coming this way, and what he probably did was he drove by, turned around, drove back, stopped the car right in the side of the road here, took her body out, drug her body into the woods right there. This is just my speculation here. So if you were looking from the sky, he would have come from, obviously, up here. I guess he could have came like this and drove like that. We don't know. But let's say he came down this spoke, turned right, and he went that way, or he could have came this direction. Although that would be kind of weird because he would have had to go like this and then like that. Kind of an awkward route, where this one is direct. Right off that spoke there, you take a right, and then he probably thought, well, maybe that's a good spot, and then turned around. I mean, who knows, right? And then pulled the car over and took her body out of the vehicle. Because, you'd never really just go there. I mean, I guess it's possible he dragged her body all the way through this field over to that section of woods, but the article does say 1200 block. Thanks, Jim Bino, Andrea Ruggiero Drum. And Angel Don Moyer. Thank you very much. Oh, and let's see, Saturn 9. Yeah. It doesn't make any sound on. I'm using OBS right now because I just wanted the press conference to be able to play. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so if you look at it, the 1100 blocks right around in this area, 1300's right here, so it is in this area, and I guess you could consider that in the area, but I don't think you would risk that much time. The woods here are really quick. You're into the woods, you know, and hidden from any cars coming this way, and then you could just drag your body in here and be pretty secure that nobody's going to be in there because it's just sort of in the middle of nowhere, really. Hey, thank you, Shelly Ann. I don't know if you're still out there, but can you put that link to the article that had the 1200 address in it?
But I mean, I would say Riverside PD would be your
Ada.
first choice, I would think.
Or anybody who might have clicked on that.
Private property. Was the person who called in the 911 call the owner of the property? Was that somebody who was out there?
I'd have to double check that. I don't have the answer. I'm assuming it's a neighbor. I know the guy lived close by. I don't know if that was his property. I really don't think it was his property.
Greene County. Right now, officials are ready to hold a news conference about remains
Oh, they can
found
do that
southeast
again.
of Xenia this
Let's see if
weekend.
it's better.
The scene, those bones were retrieved and the scene was secured.
Oh, look at that. It's coming out of both mics. Oh, my God. Or both sides. It's a miracle. The remains found on Waynesville Jamestown Road over the weekend belonged to Cheryl Coker, the Riverside woman, missing since October 2018. It's been a long time coming, Riverside Police Chief Franklin Robinson said. Deputies responded to the 1200 block of Waynesville Jamestown Road on Saturday around 5:30 p.m. when the bones were recovered. It's not a common area for someone to go, said Greene County Sheriff Gene Fisher. This happened to be some woods and some overgrowth in the area. Okay. Cheryl Coker's bones were found by a man who was mushroom hunting. Now watch. People will try to figure out the mushroom hunter's name, look into his background. Oh my God, he's got a sister that lives over here. Oh my God, you know, don't look into the mushroom hunter, anybody. The only person that killed Cheryl is her ex-husband, okay? That's the honest to God truth. It's not really like, it's not even speculation. They just can't. Well, let's put it this way. If it is speculation, it's the most accurate speculation that there ever could be, okay? It's really obvious stuff. All right. Cheryl Coker's bones were found by a man who was mushroom hunting. He told dispatchers some clothing was also found in the field near the bones. Riverside mother Cheryl Coker was reported missing October 2nd, 2018 by her sister Margie Keenan, who had been searching for her sister after Cheryl's 15-year-old daughter couldn't reach her mother. The clothing was taken as evidence, and there was also some other evidence on the scene that provided coroner investigators with a presumptive indication. Ah, wow. Well, if they did find her, I wonder if... Remember Bill Coker had an injury on his arm, I think? And wouldn't it be interesting if somehow she had skin under her fingernails or something like that? Yeah. Possibly that could have been preserved. I know it's a year and a half, so probably not, but you know, something. It sounds like she was just pure skeletonized, but maybe the fingernails still have something underneath them. And it would be really interesting if her fingernails were clipped. Yeah. The clothing was taken as evidence, and there was also some other evidence on scene that provided coroner investigators with a presumptive identification. Cheryl Coker would have celebrated her birthday last Friday. Yeah. So there's been, I mean, I've made tons of videos, so if you guys want to go back and, check them out, I've gone over the surveillance footage, mapped out everything, the way I do it on my show. They're not the little short videos that some people only want to watch, okay? My genre is like a true crime live show, and I do put out videos too from time to time, but I do a live show, okay? And if you come on and you're doing the wild speculation stuff, you probably won't last too long because it's not interesting. What we like to do on my channel is put out reasonable speculation based on the facts, and then let that lead us to where the, how the crime took place, okay? So if that's not something interesting to you and you like all the fluff and fake crap that you see all over the place, then go for it. I'm not interested in it. Let's see if we can find that Bill Coker injury. Yeah. So he's right here.
Also tonight, for the first time, Riverside police confirming that missing woman Cheryl Coker was murdered, and they believe her husband is the person responsible.
Also, for the first time, we're seeing a new video and hearing 911 calls that are helping police piece together the case. 2 News reporter Adam Reif live in the newsroom to break down the latest developments.
Cheryl Coker's body has not been found, and right now William Coker is not under arrest, despite being named the one and only suspect in his wife's murder. Police shared what they could today, but remain tight-lipped on much of the ongoing investigation.
We're not sure where she's at. We're not sure where to start looking at right now. If we did, we would have done that by now.
Riverside police releasing new video in hopes someone, somewhere, will say something.
So I can't really talk about any type of timeline or what we're going to do. But all I can say is stress the fact that we are very optimistic and confident in this investigation.
3 hours after Cheryl was last seen dropping her daughter off at school, new video shows a person dressed in all black parking Cheryl's car in the Kroger parking lot and walking off. Roughly 20 minutes later, a 911 call from the Cokers neighborhood.
There was a guy dressed in black with a black hoodie on, and as he walked across in front of me, he hid his face.
And later, additional video from Spinning Hills Middle School showing that same person walking to the Cokers' backyard. William Coker has largely been uncooperative with police, but admitted to being home during that time period. The last new video shows William at the same Kroger later that night with an apparent elbow injury.
My concern would be if I'm living in Riverside or in that neighborhood,
Yeah, I told you it was on his arm, not the hand. See, somebody tried to... No, it was a hand, Gray. It was a hand, Gray. Okay, no, it wasn't. It was on the elbow. He was dressed in black. Good if you were going to put a body in the woods. Yeah, that's good too. Yeah. So the thing is he... Just a quick recap here. Just of the day. I think it was like 7:30 in the morning. She dropped her child off at school. And then she drove home. Couple messages on Facebook, and that was around 7:35. Then all of her she didn't show up to work or anything like that, and then her vehicle shows up right here, and I think the route was just like I have in purple there. I mean, obviously there's other ways. He could have went the long way that way, went all the way over here. But I think it went like this because you see the car actually driving this direction and take a right on one of the surveillance footage shots, and then goes down here and parks right back here. Okay, then a guy dressed in all black, and I have in green here the route that he took, but it's way more speculative. But you see him walk out like this, probably walk down the street there, somehow cut across, and then right in this area, a witness saw a man in all black that was hiding his face because that person knew that people would recognize them in this little town here. Then that person followed him over down another street and saw him again, and he was, blacking his face. Then he walked back behind here, and then surveillance footage cameras at the school have him walking like this and going right towards Cheryl Coker's house. So that's how you know it's the ex-husband, or I guess they weren't really divorced yet, so the husband. They had a swinger type lifestyle, and he was seeing somebody else, and he loved the other person and took her on a trip, and that was one of the things they weren't supposed to be able to do. They were just supposed to it was just purely supposed to be for sex, and it turned out that Bill Coker didn't keep those promises, and the day before she went missing, Bill Coker was just on a trip for a week in Florida with that girlfriend and his youngest daughter. So that's probably where he hatched the plan. I wouldn't be surprised at all if his girlfriend has some knowledge of what was going on here. All right, and so she just went missing at this point. And he must have been smart enough to turn off his cell phone and all that, because I guarantee it, they don't have ping information that shows him over here. Or they would have been looking over there a long time ago, although we don't know if they have looked over there. So that's it, everybody. I think I'm going to end the live stream now, and maybe we'll talk about it later. It'd be great to get on some family and friends. I mean, I think they've all known. You know, the thing that's weird is, even though you know somebody isn't alive, sometimes when you finally find out that they're not alive, technically, that's when the emotions come out, right? It's like, boom, that's when it hits you. Because there's always that little bit, well, we haven't seen her, you know, we don't know. Everybody knew that she wasn't alive, though. There isn't anybody in her family. They didn't believe it, but I would imagine that they're grieving today. Yes, because, as Crime Canary said, it's now real. Okay, so listen, thank you all for showing up, and I'm going to be on later. I don't know if I might go over this again, or I might there was this other crazy. I might cover another case that's in the news too for a little bit of the time as well. But you probably won't hear it on another channel. Let's put it that way. Hey, thanks, Cairo. Appreciate it. All right. So, hold on one second. Thank you again to, a new member, Wicked, Will Good, Eleni K, Jennifer Cochran Fent, Maylee Harmon, Saturn 9, Jim Beam, Andrea Rogero Drum, Angel, Don Moyer, Shelly Ann, Horror Gal, and Cairo. So thank you guys all very much. And on the 29th, we'll be doing the donation night. Okay, so get ready for that. All right, everybody. So, is it Miley? That's what I said, didn't I? Or did I said Maylee? Oh yeah, okay, Miley. All right, thanks. I'll try to remember. That's hard to. It's hard to read it that way. And I guess Miley, man. I'll just remember, okay, I'm going to say Maylee, but it's actually Miley. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Be safe out there, everybody.
Wait, how come you didn't say goodnight, John Boy?
Because it's not nighttime yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.